McKinley only knew him as a retired doctor who lived across the street. He walked his dog faithfully twice a day, making sure the dog only defecated on someone else's yard. Him, Mrs. Cosgrove pointed at McKinley. Beginning to tremble, McKinley took a deep breath and tried to calm down. He could see maybe a dozen neighbors straggling over. "Good people," he said shrilly. "Please, let's not get hysterical." Working virtually alone in a quiet office had hardly prepared him for riot control, although coping with two active sons did offer some practice. He held up his hands. That didn't work. He became aware of complete silence. People were gaping, slack-jawed, eyes bulging. McKinley had never seen such overt hate so clearly outlined on so many faces. For a moment, he felt frozen in place. Then, his inner strength broken, he ran inside the house and locked the door behind him. "Your breakfast is almost ready," Mr. Scratch announced, poking his big green head around the corner of the kitchen as McKinley stepped inside the front door and closed it rapidly. "You can't do that," he breathlessly told Mr. Scratch, who was holding an egg in preparation to adding it to another one already cooking in a skillet. "You don't want 2 eggs." McKinley groaned. "You know what I mean," he said. "Brian," Connie called. McKinley hurried to the bedroom. His wife was sitting up. "Why can't anyone keep quiet?" she demanded. "You look better," McKinley tried. "Do you feel better?" "I feel like leaving and going someplace a little quieter, like Mardi Gras or the middle of spring break," she said. She cocked an ear. "What's going on outside?" she asked. Loud singing was clearly audible, along with honking cars and the banging of pots and pans. "Block party," McKinley said. "This used to be a quiet neighborhood," Connie announced, as though that observation would somehow reverse the situation. "Yes, dear," McKinley said. "Stop the dear stuff," Connie cracked. "Dad," Bradley was calling. Blindly, McKinley hurried to his son's side. Gerald was sitting up in bed, rubbing his eyes. Bradley lay in the upper bunk, still sleeping. An atomic bomb couldn't rouse him. "What's all the noise?" Gerald asked. "I don't know," McKinley said. "Go back to sleep. It's only 8 o'clock." Gerald managed a half smile. "I smell something. Bacon. Who's cooking?" McKinley shook his head. "You don't want to know." "I'm hungry," Gerald decided and scrambled to the kitchen. The Green Chef carefully put bacon and 2 fried eggs on a plate. Gerald simply took it. "Wow," he said. "Thanks." "I have yours ready, too," Mr. Scratch told McKinley. "I don't have an appetite," McKinley said sourly. "I'm sorry. I hope you aren't getting the flu, too," Mr. Scratch said, sounding generally concerned. "Can I make you something else? I know, a fruit smoothie. I'll mix some bananas, strawberries, and ice cream together. That'll perk you up." McKinley shook his head. The cacophony outside was getting worse. He sighed and headed for the guest bedroom, which he was using while his wife was ill. It was located on the northwest corner of the house, the section closest to the street. He could look out the window there and see the whole street. He carefully raised the blinds. A man's face was inches away, squinting at him. As soon as the blind opened, the man retreated, screaming. Behind him, the entire city seemed to have descended on this little street. Normally, first-time visitors could rarely find the place. Apparently, that was no longer a problem. People were walking on the lawn, singing, talking. Someone had started a small lemonade stand. Someone else had rolled out a grill. Smoke was drifting along in the light breeze. McKinley's garden had already been trampled. From somewhere came the thunder of drums. "My God," McKinley moaned. He heard his son squirm next door and hurried into that bedroom. "Dad," Bradley mumbled, "turn off the radio." "Sure," McKinley said wearily. "Thanks," Bradley said with a yawn, curled up with his blanket and fell asleep. The doorbell rang. McKinley raced down the hallway, not sure if he'd need Gerald's bat again or something more lethal. A young woman with long black hair, painted black fingernails, and an earnest smile looked at him. She had a notebook in her hand. "Are you Brian McKinley?" she asked sweetly. "Yes," he managed. "Who are you?" "Betty Wimple from the News Journal," she said. "Not now, not now," McKinley said, starting to close the door. He could feel hundreds of eyes on him. "Just a few simple questions," Wimple said quickly. McKinley hesitated, his hand ready to slam the door. She looked so nice. "I can talk to the people outside," she added, "but you'd like your side in the story too, wouldn't you?" "Yes, no," McKinley tried. "There aren't two sides." "Oh," Wimple said. She wrote something down. "Don't quote me," McKinley demanded urgently. McKinley refused to comment on claims he was harboring the devil. Wimple read aloud from her notebook. "No," McKinley said quickly. "I—" He seemed very confused. Wimple continued to read. "I am not confused," McKinley shouted. He slammed the door and lay against it, panting. "No use hiding, Brian," Wimple called through the door. McKinley shuddered. He tottered back into the kitchen. Mr. Scratch was cheerfully squeezing orange juice by hand for Gerald. "Want some?" Mr. Scratch asked. "I just want you to leave," McKinley moaned. "Dad, not until after breakfast," Gerald objected. "Then he promised to help me with my reading assignment." McKinley gasped like a fish deposited on dry land. "Reading," he whimpered. "My best subject," Mr. Scratch said proudly. "That and science." "You know, Brad has a science fair project he needs help on," Gerald noted eagerly. "You could help him." "You bet I could," Mr. Scratch agreed enthusiastically. He immediately strode down the hallway to the bedroom to discuss the possibility with the sleeping teenager. McKinley waited for his half-awake son to erupt in his usual burst of anger at having his sleep disrupted. Instead, he came out of the bedroom and almost rushed into the kitchen. "Where's the eggs?" he asked. "I want to finish that darn science project. Greenie has a great idea." "I do a lot with fire," Mr. Scratch said modestly, trailing behind Bradley. He pushed around Bradley. "How do you like your eggs?" he asked. "Sunny side up with pepper and salt," Bradley said. "Salt isn't good for you. How about some of my special spices?" Mr. Scratch suggested. "You'll like it."